It is 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. Some stores are watching this Wednesday, March 18. President Bongbong Marcos orders the Department of Transportation to suspend fare increases for PUVs amid the Middle East crisis. The hikes were supposed to take effect tomorrow, March 19. President Marcos says the postponement is to help commuters, workers, and students who rely on public transport. Marcos promised additional support for transport workers to ease their burden during this period of massive oil price shocks.
The House Committee on Justice has declared the third and fourth impeachment complaints against Vice President Sara Duterte sufficient in grounds. The committee will then proceed with the official impeachment hearing, which commences on March 25th. This will be followed by deliberations on April 14, 22, and 29. The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, has terminated its probe against Senator Rodante Marcoleta due to lack of evidence. The investigation stemmed from alleged non-disclosure of election donors in his 2025 May SOSE, or Statement of Contributions and Expenditures. The poll body, however, recommended filing cases against Marcoleta's donors for allegedly failing to submit individual reports, while the senator himself is cleared.
The ethics complaint against Senator Bato de la Rosa may be dismissed if Senate rules are not amended to include a no work, no pay provision. According to Ethics Panel Chairman Senator J.B. Ejercito, current rules do not cover prolonged absences, making it difficult for the case to proceed. The committee will first review whether the complaint meets proper form and substance before any investigation can move forward.
Top U.S. counterterrorism official Joe Kent resigned amid the U.S.-Israel strike on Iran. Kent said he, and I quote, cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. He also believes that Iran does not pose any imminent threats and that the United States started the war because of pressure from Israel.
So si Joe Kent can't support the...
Joining us today, StoryCon's resident political pundit, Ronald Llamas.
Parang okay naman magpalit kami ng role.
Sige, go.
Yung,
Pundit, Jenny Heckler. He was dying to make that joke.
corny heckler. Heckler ako pero hindi naman ganun ka-corny.
Usus?
ikaw yung hari ng mga tito jokes eh.
Okay, tingnan natin kung natawa si Ami. From the Philippine Star, EIC, Ami Pamintuan. Hi, Ami.
Hi everyone, ang baduy ng joke, ano?
Thank you.
Hindi grabe talaga kayo. Kung alam ko lang, nililista niyo ngayon yung joke na yun para for later use eh.
Thank you, Ami.
Parang maling bugato joke.
Corny.
Uy, ang daming storya ngayon ha.
Ang dami.
Ang daming storya. Kagimbal-gimbal.
Good news.
Ano?
Good. Hindi. Lagi kong good news dahil puro masasama buong araw eh. Baka hindi na daw magbabuy cam para baka mamayang gabi mapirmahan na yung special power to suspend excise tax.
Okay, different people, different strokes. Some people find that good news, some
Oo nga,
people
yun ang
don't.
tatanong ko kung good yun or bad.
I mean, in general, it's good for us consumers. Pero the big question remains, kailan ito magkikick in? Because 30 days, when does the clock start on the 30-day average of Brent above $80 a barrel?
Yun yung sa Senate version. Hindi ko alam yung sa Senate
isang
version.
araw between Pia Cayetano and Ping Lacson. When do you start counting the day one of the 30-day average?
And
So hindi ko alam kung ano yung final. Ano ba
Dahil
yung lumabas sa
after
final?
30 days, kung magpapatuloy yung gera, disastrous na para sa ating economy.
well, I think lahat naman tayo, we saw the fuel price boards, no, na they weren't made to accommodate 3-digit diesel prices.
Yeah.
So, naglagay sila ng extra.
Nagpapaskil ng bond paper.
Hindi naman bond paper, siguro cardboard.
Wow, big difference.
Kasi number one, 100 pesos per liter. Pero, the other question dun, apart from yung when does the clock start, is in that 30-day period, pag bumaba na $80 a barrel ang Brent crude, and there have been dips, right? Is that counted or does the clock restart? Hindi rin klaro yun. Because hindi naman pwedeng dire-diretso na 30 days straight, Brent is above $80 a barrel. There are some periods na bumaba on anticipation that the war might end soon, but I don't know if they've tackled that. So
Ang
that's a big
problema,
question mark.
Baka,
It may
baka
be-
IRR na lang.
Ang
Baka
problema,
implementing
it may be
rules
kwan-
na lang.
Oo, baka.
Maybe too little, too late. Kung
Kasi
masyadong-
day
kung masyadong
17.
matagal.
Oo. Day 18 na
Kailangan
tayo.
mabilis, lalo ganyang sinuspindi yung yung fair hike eh. Yung pagsuspinde, palagay ko, to temper inflation eh.
Dapat kasi wealth tax na.
Pero,
Wealth
Oo,
tax. Ayan, may nag-advocate ng wealth tax
Pero-
dito.
Magta-take effect
Ano?
next decade or ano.
5 years?
Retroactive pa
Optimistic
naman.
naman. Be optimistic naman.
But that might entail a revolution.
Well, malapit,
pero
malapit na tayo
mas
doon.
malaki yung save nila sa excise tax.
Yes.
Sa bawas lang naman ha.
Hindi, may mga
ewan ko,
bumabanat
talaga
kasi.
napakalakat ng gasolina ngayon eh.
May bumabanat sa excise tax na hindi naman talaga makikinabang yung karamihan sa mga consumers. Ang maapektuhan ay yung middle class at saka upper class. Yun ang sinasabi
Hindi ko malaman kung saan ang hugot niyan eh. Ilan lang naman yung upper middle class dito. Ilan ba yung may-ari ng motorsiklo, may-ari ng
6%.
tricycle, may-ari ng
6
kotse?
pesos.
I think that over 90% of people who will benefit from a lower fuel prices. Ano magagawa natin? Lahat naman dito pinapakinabangan ng mayayaman.
But I saw some figures from AER, I think, but from 2021.
49% yung consumption.
For example, in terms of savings daw, yung upper 10% will be saving, 24,000 pesos. That's 2021 prices. Pag yung oil,
Barya-barya lang
yung
nila
excess
yun.
tax. Versus, ang matitipid ng lower 10% is 500. So, in effect, removing the excess tax that would be subsidizing mostly
The rich.
The wealthy.
people.
Sa data nila.
So yun. Anyway, we can parse the data, and but I'm sure they have newer data, newer than 2021. We'll have somebody from AER later in the show, so we can ask them what their findings are.
At ang sabi nila, baka mas malaki pa yung impact kung IBAT sa electricity.
Kung tanggalin ang VAT.
On electricity dahil nga mas marami yung makikinabang. Kumpara sa excise tax.
We're
Pero
looking
ang
for
problema
solution.
kasi natin, we're left for imperfect choices eh.
Exactly.
Pinipili natin are the
Exactly.
least imperfect.
Least evil, least disruptive of
Lahat
the choices.
naman sa kanila may pros and cons eh.
Lahat nga. I mean, that's the basic principle of economics, right? Lahat may trade-off. Pero yun nga, ay itong pagsuspend ng fuel excise tax, I don't know when it will kick in. It should, they should make haste. Kasi day 18 na tayo ng war in Iran.
Yung iba sinasabi, 30 days na lang yung ating reserve. Iba sinasabi,
20 days.
20 days. So, either way, 1 month will be disastrous kung magpapatuloy yung gera.
Nung una, ang pinag-usapan lang natin is the increase, the skyrocketing prices. Now, I'm starting to
supply.
hear is the supply. I'm starting to hear concerns about the actual supply na baka...
Eh, hindi makagalaw eh.
Secretary Go, Finance Secretary Go announced that we're importing 2 million barrels of oil.
Yeah.
Yun yung good news ni Ami kahapon.
Kailan darating?
I don't know. We're trying to get more information from him din kung kailan to darating and saan siya galing.
Saan
Sa'yo galing.
Oo, but we don't know yet. So we're
Kasi-
trying to get more information nga.
China has suspended at least for March oil
Exports.
oil exports, finished products, hindi crude oil, pero finished products. So whether or not we get from China is immaterial kasi it will kahit paano constrict the market in Southeast Asia.
Hindi, tsaka they will retain what they can produce eh.
Yeah, it's
Dahil mas delikado sila eh.
na
Ang laki,
we
ang
need
laki ng
more
kanilang
here.
production base eh. No, mas kailangan nila yun.
Baka bumilis-bilis yan, nauubusan na ng kakampi si Trump eh. Walang gustong tumulong sa kanya eh.
Bubilis-bilis.
Baka iba nagising niya bukas.
Oh, pero
Madali
kailangan-
naman niya i-switch yung narrative niya.
Ang indicative dyan, Ami, kung magsisimula na silang mag-present ng narrative for a graceful exit. For now, wala
Kaya
pa yung
nga,
narrative
punta na
na
siya
yun
sa
eh.
Cuba. Oh.
For now,
Diba?
wala pa yun
Pupunta
eh.
na siya sa Cuba.
Oo.
Oh,
That's
iwanan
not a
na niya si
graceful
Iran.
exit eh.
Pabayaan na niya. Doon na siya sa Cuba. Balik na siya dun sa...
Ang graceful
Doon na siya
exit
sa
niya,
hemisphere niya uli.
ang graceful exit niya is he will claim victory. That's the
Kaya
graceful
nga,
exit.
okay lang, hayaan nyo na siya mag-claim para mabukas lang yan.
Or he will
can claim
redefine
anything he wants.
He will redefine the parameters that he can call victory.
Yeah. At ang problema nila, kung aatras ng Israel. Because Israel already has put boots on the ground eh. No? At iba yung agenda ng Israel sa US eh. Pero
Kaya
yung
nga,
agenda
kaya
ng Israel
pwede niya iwanan yun.
But
Okay ba sila?
think for a second of the implications of what this guy Joe Kent said, which is that the U.S. was only dragged into this war under pressure from Israel.
That's true.
What does that say about the Trump administration, right? Na, again, paulit-ulit, his own intelligence teams have said Iran poses no imminent threat. They're at least 10 years away from building
Any
nuclear
nuclear.
weapons.
Yeah.
But the idea that he could be
Palpak.
swayed by one country, by one president, si Bibi Netanyahu, says a lot.
Huh?
Ikaw talaga. Teka lang. I have to set the record straight on something. Hindi pala in the process of acquiring 2 million barrels. Let me read out the specific paragraph in the press release that Secretary Go sent the media yesterday. He shared that a subsidiary of PNOC, Philippine National Oil Company, is exploring
Yeah.
the
Exploring.
acquisition of 2 million barrels of oil from the global market as a precautionary measure to strengthen the country's buffer stock.
Hindi mo na negotiating na,
Medyo malayo.
exploring pala.
Medyo malayo-layo.
Talking pa lang.
Medyo malayo-layo pa yun.
Kayo nagsabi niyan, but I'm just
Hindi pa talking exploring pa lang, hindi pa negotiating.
I'm just reading
Exploring.
the
Meron ng talk show, kayo naman.
I'm just reading the exact
Exploring is
paragraph.
if it's possible.
Ito yung statement na pinadala sa media kahapon. This is I just read the exact paragraph. Exploring the acquisition of 2 million barrels. So hindi pa pala na order.
Meron na yan.
Parang,
May talks
parang
na
yung
yan.
exploring na yun. Parang, ang hirap nun dahil by that
Hindi,
time.
nakikipag-usap tayo sa Russia,
Wala na
di ba?
magbebenta na langis.
Mali mo, Brazil
We're talking
or
with Russia.
Vietnam. Vietnam
Diba?
has fuel, has oil.
Lifted
Okay.
yung sanction sa Russia ngayon eh.
Bok, teka, we
Diyan
have our
lang,
guest
talo
ready.
na si Trump dyan eh.
We have our guest ready on the line. Ami, let's bring in, we've been talking about Senator Rodante Marcoleta Sose, and joining us this afternoon is COMELEC Commissioner Attorney Ray Bulay. Commissioner, magandang hapon po and welcome to Storycon.
Magandang hapon po, Ed, at Idol Ronald, at saka
May
Regina,
And si Ami po.
Ami.
Yes,
Magandang hapon po sa inyo at sa inyong mga tagapagkinig.
Thank you very much,
Good
Com,
afternoon.
for joining us today. I think it's your first time with us
Com.
on the show. Oo.
Yes, and I apologize because it's supposedly the chairman who should be here because he's the master of all of this. Thank you.
but, Com, ano?
So, Kong, kayo ba fall guy?
Sarap ng tawa.
I don't want to preempt everyone, but I am commissioner in charge for the
PFAD.
PFAD.
Political
Okay.
and
Okay.
Finance Affairs
I am.
Division.
Pero Com,
I think
help us understand the decision kasi well, apparently it's based on the Peñera doctrine, the Peñera ruling of the Supreme Court from 2009 that you only become a candidate on the first day of the campaign period. Therefore, dahil daw 1 month before yung campaign period dinonate yung 75 million, hindi pa siya kandidato. Therefore, hindi siya, tama ba? Hindi siya liable for an election offense. Did I get that right? And number two, but at the same time, yung findings po ninyo is this investigation established the fact that the respondent did not pa rin comply with Section 109. So merong apparent violation pero wala naman siyang penalty.
that is correct, Ed, and thank you very much because you answered it already.
Sige sir, but for us non-lawyers, go through it.
Yung hindi learned.
Naalala ko kasi yung Quadro Alas, nanonood ako sa idol ko palagi. Anyway, number one, that sparked my curiosity because I wanted to check kung ang pronunciation talaga nung ating jurisprudence Peñera. I went to see and read the Supreme Court ruling on the actual case. It says Penera. But medyo masamang pakinggan kasi Pinera. So, mas maganda na siguro.
Anyway, yes, sir.
Pinera pala. Mas maganda yung
Kung
pinera.
binigyan niyo ako ng ideya, binigyan niyo ako ng ideya sa Sabado, sa 4 alas, babanggitin ko yan.
Going back to,
Yes, sir.
to your query, you are correct because Senator Marcoleta then was not a candidate yet when he received the alleged contribution. He says a contribution. So basically, the jurisprudence requires that for such to be the ruling of the case, it should have been done during the campaign period where the recipient is already a candidate.
Meaning after
So
February
at which
11.
point, yes, so as claimed during, as stated in the facts of the case, it was, I think, if my memory serves me right, January 11, when the said amount was donated by 3 donors. The names of which, though I have seen because of the submissions of the donors' tax return, I would like to hold mentioning because we are still to refer it to our legal department for...
But sir, it's in the decision
because-
already. It's Mike Defensor and Espiritu and Viray. It's in the decision.
Oh, okay, your words, not mine. So basically, alleged. If you ask me, the repeal of Section 262 of the Omnibus Election Code by Republic Act 7166 did not include Section 99, which mentions the liability of the donors. So Section 99 remained in Section 262. That is why we opted to endorse the disposition of our PFAD office to the law department to study cases that can be filed against the donors. So basically, if all ultimate facts fall on all fours with respect to the requirements of the law. Ganun po yun. So, yun pong sinabi kanina ni Mang Ed na number 2, liability ng respondent, it refers, I think, to the donors. Question number 1 was for the candidate. So, ang epekto po, basically, ng 7166, ano po sila, parehong 1985 vintage ng Omnibus Election Code at saka nung Republic Act na yon, which was after the passage of the OEM, ginawa po yon. Ang alam ko na contemporaneous construction is marami pong nasasali doon na barangay candidates na parang ang Congress was sympathetic to them kasi hindi po naiintindihan nung panahon na yun masyado how to file a SOCHE under Section 107, form and content ng SOCHE under Section 109, and yung pong effect ng non-filing. Eh nung pinasa po yung 7166 na yun, it decriminalized 107, 109, and 111 violations. So, ang nangyari po, parang administrative na lang yung violation nila when it refers to those 3 sections. Ang naiwan po, kaya ho ganun yung number 2 na recommendation ng aming PFAD, doon po sa Section 262 ng Omnibus Election Code, hindi na amend nor na repeal. It's not correct to say repeal. It's amend and repeal. Yun po ang epekto. Yung Section 99 na iwan po kaya po meron pa natitira na question ng liability dun sa donors. As far as the candidate is concerned, wala pong violation sa kanya. Wala pong violation dun sa bagay na yon. Because he has nothing to report when he received it. So basically, nor can we say that those things malaking will violate yung pagtulong sa eleksyon. Hindi po natin alam, marami pong pwedeng dahilan yan. Although yung pagtulong sa eleksyon maybe allegedly one of it, di ba po? But
Commissioner-
yung timeline kasi opo. Is there a question?
Yes.
Apo.
Okay, you said a lot of things there that we have to unpack. Pero itong last thing that you said, hindi natin alam para saan yung donation. I mean, Senator Marcoleta himself said that these donors believed he should get to the Senate. Siya na rin nagsabi, di ba? That's what it's for?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact,
no,
he
he did not-
explicitly said that they requested that they not be included or named in the SOSE
Yeah.
because they'd rather be anonymous
Oh.
donors.
Which that
The-
alone
the-
should have raised red flags. But then he goes further and says these donors believe that he should get to the Senate. So clear naman yung purpose doon, right?
Well, clear po ang purpose, pero yung timeline po, hindi natin pwedeng i-advance. When he received the donation, hindi po natin
Okay.
pwedeng i-advance. Kasi
Okay,
when he
Commissioner,
received it, kulang po na isang requisite that he was already a candidate.
Candidate.
Nung nireceive
Oo.
po niya yun, hindi pa po siya candidate at hindi pa rin campaign period.
Oo.
Alam niyo po, hindi naman kami yung gumagawa ng batas. Ano po? Medyo ano
So,
po.
Commissioner, parang sa premature campaigning case yan, ano? Pero kung sakasakali,
Opo, ganun po.
kung hindi po,
Opo.
kung hindi po liable si Senator Marcoleta under election laws, pwede siyang habulin ng BIR kung sakasakali. You think?
Hindi po si Senator Marcoleta kundi yung tatlong donors. Kasi sila po ang dapat may obligasyon magbayad ng donors tax, which I think they did
Okay.
because they submitted already tax returns, donors tax return on record.
Ang pwede
Yung
niyang kaso,
recipient ng
Ami,
donation,
Ang pwede
yung
niyang kaso,
recipient ng
Ami, is
donation,
kwan-
hindi ba niya ano yun? Yung recipient ng donation, walang requirement na magbayad din. Hindi tinatax yung recipient.
Hindi po kasi donation po ang transaction. Kaya yung donor po ang nagbabayad ng donors tax.
Ang pwede ikaso sa kanya, Ami, yung sinabi ni Senator Ping Lacson, indirect bribery. Yun yung pwede niya, dahil congressman siya noon eh. Nung tumanggap siya ng suhol, allegedly. No? Yun ang pwede
Hindi.
ikaso.
Kung
Oo. Sabi ni Senator
intended dyan
Ping
for the
Lacson.
campaign, paano medyo mahirap yata ano yun. Kung intended for his campaign to run for Senate, hindi kung suhol, dapat merong ano yung quid pro quo hinihingi nung nagsuhol.
Well, kung congressman ka, tumanggap ka ng gano'n, kahit walang reason, that is still indirect bribery. No? Dahil kung ka public official ka
But let me ask Commissioner Bulay one more thing. Sir, so basically the commission is saying na it doesn't matter what the intention of the donation is. What matters is when the donation was made, what the character of the personality involved at that time the donation was made is, whether he was a candidate or not. Kasi clearly the donation was made for purposes of an election campaign. That much was clear in the statements of Marcoleta, except that he was not yet candidate during that time. I raise that, sir, kasi medyo nagulan ako dun sa decision kasi midway through the decision, page 4 and page 5, the discussion says all contributions used during the campaign period should be reported in the SOSE. The reason being that a person who has filed a certificate of candidacy may receive or accept contributions not only during the campaign period, but also before the start of the campaign.
Exactly.
In the case at bar, it is with more reason, I will repeat that, in the case at bar, it is with more reason that respondent should have reported the said contributions because it funded his campaign. So medyo na-confuse ako kasi at that point of page 5, it was parang he should have reported. And then
Yes.
pagdating ng page 6,
Kasi
hindi na
ginamit sa
kailangan.
campaign. Oo nga. Paano yun? Kung ginamit mo sa kampanya, di ano yun, dapat ni-report, di ba?
Kung ginamit po sa kampanya, in like manner, pwedeng sabihin hindi naman ginamit sa kampanya. Wala po tayo.
Kasi sinabi kasi niya eh. Siya nagsabi
yung
na ginamit niya.
Ang mahirap nito,
sinasabi.
paano ipapaliwanag sa tao ito? Parang ang sinasabi ng COMELEC is a
Hair
technicality.
splitting yan eh.
Pero the essence ay ginamit na sa kampanya at nagsinungaling siya nung sinabi niya na ito ay galing mismo sa kanyang personal na pera. Nung nasingil siya dahil wala sa
Siya
kanyang
nagsabi.
salin, tsaka lang siya umamin. Ang hirap ipaliwanag sa tao noon, Commissioner. No? At,
Opo, at,
medyo tatamaan
hindi
kayo
mo-
niyan kung ang gagamitin nyo lang ay isang technicality.
Tama po. At hindi naman ho ako magde-dervention na magbigay na explanation. Ang tangi lang ho namin, but we have to decide based on parameters. Hindi naman din ho namin pwedeng sabihin with the accuracy kung saan o kailan ginamit yung donation o pera. Ang sa amin po dyan, i-relegate po namin yan sa bar of public opinion. Pagdating po ng eleksyon. Kung tayo po hindi na maniniwala kay Senator Marcoleta, ay papakita po natin yan sa ating pagboto. May mga ganun po kasi gray areas na talaga po
5 years
hindi
away,
mabibigyan ng eksaktong ruling. At katulad po ng Korte Suprema na siyang naggawa nung desisyon na yan sa Penera, ano po nahihirapan kami sa application maraming beses kasi automated election po yan. Ako po ang in charge ng barangay, manual po yun. Doon po, pag-file mo pa lang, kandidato ka na. Hindi hintayin yung campaign period. Pwede na kita i-demanda na kung ano-ano violation sa election law. Dito po hindi. Siguro po, doon sa bagay na yon, mapipilitan talaga kami mag-decide kung ano man yung ipapakita sa amin na pwedeng panghawakan na merong basehan. Doon,
So-
wala na po kaming ibang makikita.
So, Commissioner, kahit very glaring at very public yung kanyang pagsisinungaling sa institusyon ng COMELEC, wala man lang siyang tap sa kamay, wala man lang siyang kahit kaunting penalty. Baka ang tawagin dyan ng tao, impunity.
Sa amin po, I'm afraid to say na wala. Kasi kailangan po kaming sumunod sa batas, hindi naman kami ang gumagawa ng batas. But people, like ang alam ko na nag-file sa amin, si Mr. Aro po, yung pong convener,
Kontradaya.
pwede po naman yan ipanik sa Supreme Court para once and for all magkaroon na po ng kaliwanagan itong mga bagay na ito. Ang batas po na yan na pinangahawakan namin, vintage 1985 pa. Yung Omnibus Election Code po, na talaga namang marami na ring hindi pagtama sa panahon ngayon, ay 1985 din. Kaya po, sana, kasama na hong lahat ito sa aayusin sa batas natin. Kasi kawawa naman po yung presidential election sa 2028 kung ganito pa rin po ang problema natin.
The other point
Commissioner,
of...
pagkakaiba lang naman dito. Meron kasing nagsalita kasi si Senator Marcoleta na he actually used those funds for his campaign.
That's the
Donation
point.
yan para sa kanyang campaign. Malinaw na malinaw kung saan ginamit yung pondo At siya mismo nagsabi na hindi niya pinangalanan yung donor, which is against the rules of the law ng COMELEC mismo. Yun lang naman ang iniisip ng mga tao. Bakit ganon? Merong umamin, bakit hindi na sanction man lang?
Dagdag lang sa tanong ni Ami, Commissioner.
Opo.
Di ba dapat
Opo,
COMELEC
opo.
mismo ang magsampa ng
Yes.
kaso ng perjury? Dahil
Yeah.
dokumento nyo yung pinagsinungalingan niya Di ba di ba kahit man lang perjury, hindi ba kayo obligado na magsampa ng kaso?
Akala ko,
kay
yeah.
Senator Marcoleta dahil kayo yung niloko niya eh. No? Kayo yung
Ganito
niloko
po
niya eh.
ang-
Oo.
Ganito po ang provision sa amin ng batas na course of action namin. Yun nga po, yung section 107, 109, 111 ng Omnibus Election Code. At yung section 14 and 39 ng Republic Act 7166. Outside of that, wala na po kami kapangyarihan.
Hindi.
Kaya
Tama.
po-
Agree ako doon, Com. No? Pwedeng hindi
Apo.
ito isang election offense. No? Pero
But the SOSE, it's a binding legal document.
yung usapin ng perjury ay hindi pwedeng gawin. Yung election offense, pwede. No? Dahil nga sa sinasabi niyong jurisprudence. Pero yung kanyang pag-perjure ng sarili niya sa isang COMELEC document, hindi niyo ba pwedeng gawin yon motu proprio na kayo magkaso?
Ang perjury po is yung hindi totoong sinasabi sa narration of facts. Ang submission po niya ng SOTSE, wala pa po nung tinanggap niya at nagsalita siya tungkol doon sa contribution. So, nung matanggap po namin yun, hindi pa po siya nagpe-perjure. At most what you can say to him, bilang fiscal po dati ng Maynila, ay declaration against interest yung ginawa niya. Pero yung perjury po, meron time and place na titignan tayo kung kailan niya ginawa yung perjury niya. Pero hindi po siguro at the time na nag-pronounce siya or something, kundi dun po sa dokumento when he filed this SOTSE. Palagay ko po, yung time difference na yon hindi po magpapanama para ma-perjure mo siya. Yun po ang akin. Sa akin lang naman po yun. Baka marami pong magagaling sa atin na pwedeng subukan pong itanong yan sa ating kataas-taasang hukuman. Ganon po ang aking tingin.
Sir, let me see if I get this right. So as far as the COMELEC is concerned, lahat ng nakuha na pera ni Senator Marcoleta before February 11, 2025, kung kailan nagsimula yung day 1 ng campaign period for national positions,
Opo.
mga nakuha niya before that, hindi election contributions. These are personal contributions. That's what... Tama ho ba?
According to the law. According to the law.
Okay.
Not according to the COMELEC. Ano po? According to the law. Susunod lang kami dun eh. Opo.
Okay, but the next question, of course, for most of well, taong bayan, ordinaryong tao, would be, of course, we're not lawyers, pero, sir, tumanggap ng 75 million ng isang tao na ang salin ay nasa 51 million net worth lamang.
Yan tinatanong ko eh.
Hindi ho ba, wouldn't that be excessive in nature as far as the amounts are concerned? That's more than, that's almost double his net worth na tinanggap niya as a personal contribution as a sitting congressman. Does the COMELEC have any power or any authority over that kind of an activity?
Ganito po yun eh. If it's the SOTSE, meron po kaming power, kaya lang ang parameters namin guided by only two laws, the Omnibus Election Code and Republic Act 7166. As far as the SALN is concerned, it is governed by a different law and a different agency. Hindi po sa COMELEC para mag-ano po kami doon. Although I agree with you doon sa amount. Sa amount.
Kasi it is fantabulous considering his net worth. It is fantabulous.
Yes. I
The
agree.
ombudsman na yan, Ed, kung saan sakali. Ombudsman.
Sa ombudsman na yun. Commissioner, the bottom line here is that SOSEs don't mean anything. You can lie on your SOSE and not be held liable for it. Because applying that logic to all other candidates, it means any candidate can collect funding before the 2 to 3 months before campaign period, spend it on their campaigns, and still declare zero contributions on their SOSE because it doesn't mean anything. Is that correct?
I will agree with you on the thing that if money as fungible as it is came in before the campaign period, yes, they can make use of it any way they wish and not be liable. But as far as SOCHE is not effective, may I tell you that it is because upon the second violation of non-filing, which is what was decreed by 7166 when it amended and repealed the Omnibus Election Code Section 107 to 111, there is COMELEC can decide on meeting the candidate with a perpetual disqualification to hold public office upon the second violation. Although what Republic Act 7166 did when it decriminalized it, it took away the powers of the court, where supposedly all election offenses are criminal in nature. That's why we file it in court, where you suffer 1 to 6 years imprisonment. Because of 7166, the courts are now bereft of such power, and such power is left with the commission. So we have records of previous elections where we decreed disqualification from holding public office. So it's not entirely walang kwenta.
So kailangan umabot
It is
pa sa second violation, sa second offense.
Opo, kasi dun lang naman pwede kang magkamali eh. Katulad po ng, akala ko po itatanong niya, paano kung mali ang tuos? Have you ever thought of that? Because the gravamen of the law is to foster equality in elections. Kaya po naglagay ng limit sa SOCHE, magkano pwede mong gastusin per kandidato. Di ba po? Paano po kung marami din po nagkakamali? So, alimbawa, 3 piso ang allowed per kandidato, sumusobra po sila doon. Paano po ang nangyayari doon?
Doesn't every candidate sign a document at the beginning of their campaigns laying out all these rules and guidelines from COMELEC? Or di ba may briefing naman po kayo? If I recall correctly, I think it was Chair Garcia who told us that a few years ago.
Wala po kaming pagkukulang dyan. Lahat po ng election meron kaming pinapalabas na complete information. Kompleto po, pati violations.
That's exactly what I mean, Commissioner. Every candidate knows at the start of the campaign period, na these are the rules and the regulations. But at the same time, you're saying na first offense could just be an oversight. Kailangan umabot ng second offense before they are penalized.
Opo, ma'am.
So parang,
Opo, ma'am.
that's a bit of a disconnect, don't you think?
And then, sorry. Yan po ang sinasabi ng Omnibus Election Code.
Meron
Hindi
din,
po kami.
Meron din, in terms of the Omnibus Election Code, meron din Article 98, which Chair Garcia mentioned already, which requires the disclosure of contributors' real names and prohibits the use of pseudonyms or aliases.
Tama po, tama po.
Hindi rin siya,
Dito po, meron silang names. Meron silang names. Kasi magpapile ka sa BIR ng donor's tax. So hindi mo pwede lukuhin yun.
Pero sa candidate's SOSE, hindi yun nalagay.
Nakalagay po
that's
yun.
not an offense.
Ang nakalagay po sa in Marcoleta's case, yun pong donor's tax filing nung 3 contributors niya with their names. Diba, alam niyo naman po yung mga names. So, nandun po siya. Hindi po wala.
Ay, sir.
After the fact.
Are you saying that si Marcoleta put the names of the 3 in his
after the
SOSE?
fact. Hindi naman po. Kasama po kasi dito sa ito po sa akin yung file.
So, ito yung original SOSE,
Kasama
sir.
po dito. Oo.
Sir, can I back up a bit? Did
Yes, please. Opo.
Senator Marcoleta
Opo.
put the names of the three contributors in his SOSE as contributors? No.
Hindi po, yung
Hindi,
pong tatlo ang sila po kasi yung filer ng donors tax.
Oo, sila nag-file. Opo,
So
opo.
hindi magagawa ni Senator Marcoleta yun for them. Ang gagawa po talaga nun sila. And then bibigay nila ho yun para ma-include dito sa SOCHE kasi yung contributors po are required to do that. But sila, kahit hindi sila kasama doon sa campaign period, nag-ano na rin po sila, nagbigay po sila to support yung sinabi po ni Senator Marcoleta. Kaya po kompleto ito. Kompleto.
Okay.
I thought you
Sige.
were pursuing a complaint against the donors for not filing the report of contributions. Nag-file naman pala po sila.
Opo. Pero ano ho kasi, gusto nating malaman, di ba, like you, kasi hindi nga ho natanggal nung 7166, yung section 99 ng 262, which refers to contributors. So gusto ho namin, para siguradong wala kaming mali,
Testing yan.
ipadaan na po sa LODEP namin. Tapos pag-aralan nila, kung wala talaga pwedeng i-file doon o meron. Kaya ho, hindi ho namin iniiwanan na scot-free lahat. Sila yung tatlo dadaan pa doon sa Law Department.
So, yung tatlo ay kakasuhan dahil may ginawang illegal, pero yung binigyan nila ng pera ay walang kahit anong ginawang illegal.
And
Tama po, as long as sa COMELEC ang pinag-uusapan kasi yun lang hong dalawang batas na yun ang meron kaming kapangyarihan. Wala
Pero-
po kaming all-encompassing power.
Pero di ba, Commissioner, dapat yung COMELEC at saka yung BIFAD should lean
PFAD.
more, PFAD, should lean more towards the spirit of the law.
exactly.
Di ba? Malinaw naman yung spirit of the law At pabayaan nyo, kung may magsasampa si Marcoleta sa Supreme Court, edi magsampa siya. Pero kayo as an institution, ay mas ang leaning nyo ay yung spirit of the law.
I cannot agree with you more, Idol. Alam mo naman di ba? Kaso, yung letter of the law, medyo may problema. No? So, yung letter of the law, hindi naman kami ang gagawa noon. Dapat siguro, sabi ko nga, vintage 1985 pa yun. Pareho. Yung repealing law at amending law at saka yung basic law. Hindi na 2026 na ngayon. Hindi na tama. Marami doon, hirap kami. So, wala kaming choice din.
On another note,
Commissioner,
hope you understand.
you make it sound like COMELEC is purely ministerial, that you have no power to
Tama po.
impose
Yes,
all of
we are.
these
Yes, we are.
laws.
Yes, we are. Thank you for bringing that point. Yes, we are.
It's not a compliment.
Wala
sir.
po kami. Oh,
I'm
yes.
just saying,
Oh, yes.
at some
Because
point, I
that's
mean,
the truth. No, but because that's the truth. That's the truth. I'm glad we finally made a breakthrough. Kasi miski ano ho yung isulat, except for identities and all, pag nag-file sa amin ng COC, we have to accept. Wala ho kami leeway na mag-check sa diferensya nung nagpapile ng COC unless somebody complains.
Pero
Unless
sir,
katulad ho nito, motu proprio. Ito, motu proprio. Kasi nagsalita po Senator Marcoleta sa public TV, sa TV show niya. Kung wala po yun, hindi na po namin malalaman yun.
hindi nyo na
Hindi na po namin
titignan.
malalaman. Hindi na ho kasi million po tayo Imposible po na makita ng COMELEC lahat yun. Marami pong ganon na problema.
Commissioner, matagal na kayo nagpo-push ng mga amendments sa mga laws natin. Kumusta? Meron bang endorser sa 20th Congress? That's one of the issues na matagal nang nire-raise yung no premature campaigning, yung specifically na yun, napakaraming problemang lumalabas dyan na no such thing as premature campaigning. Meron ba nag-endorse man lang sa mga proposals nyo for amending the election laws?
To give credit to credit is due, ma'am. Ako po ang assigned sa amendments and amendments, suggestions, alterations sa 1985 Omnibus Election Code.
Yes.
Chaired by then Chairperson Amy Marcos. And each 998 provisions nung pong Omnibus Election Code, nilagyan po namin, I chaired it as, and all the lawyers na chief of staff ng mga commissioner and the chairman and all the people in the field para po maitama lahat yung problema doon sa 1985 provisions, ma-update. Nagawa po namin yun, natapos, and then Senator Amy accepted it. She even wrote a letter thanking us. And hindi ko na po alam.
Nasaan na siya ngayon?
Ano na po. Nasa Senate po. Tapos po kami ng pagbibigay ng amendments doon. Ganun po, ma'am, yung
Okay.
yung aming problema.
We have to leave that there. We've run out of time, but
One last note
just
lang,
very quickly.
One last note lang, Commissioner. Anong tingin nyo doon sa sinasabi ni Senator Ping Lacson na may pressure sa mga commissioner from a religious group na kinakasamahan ni Senator Marcoleta? Is that a total lie coming from Senator Lacson na medyo hindi naman ganun medyo may kaunti namang rigor sa kanyang kasaysayan as a senator and a police investigator?
Very quickly, sir.
Alam niyo po, si Senator Ping, idol ko yan eh. Pero hindi ko maagrihan na merong pressure. Lahat po ng kasos dito may pressure kami. Hindi lang ho galing sa religious group. Palagi ko po, ang tanong doon is, will be bend down to pressure? Speaking for myself and for everyone, for my co-commissioner, especially the chairman. Kita nyo naman po ako, hindi po ako, miski maglaban-laban kami from within. Basta kung ano ho, siguro ho kami totoo where the facts take us. Kaya lang masyadong blunt minsan, kaya nagagalit po ang tao, kaya ho hindi kami naiintindihan. Pero hindi po kami nagbabag doon sa pressure. Lalo na po ako, retarded na ako next year. Hindi na ho ako matatakot. Di ba ho, ano?
And yet,
Retarded na ako next year.
Commissioner, you keep saying your hands are tied, that you can only do so much. Ano ba talaga?
By the law, ma'am. By the law po. By the law.
Hindi
It's
talagang
the law
meron
that ties our
problema
hands.
sa batas.
Hindi po lahat. Problema ho sa batas. Sana ho si Idol Cuadro Alas, mag-congressman ha.
Oo.
Tapos
Yeah.
ayusin yung batas miski sa Comelec lang o mag-senador. Ano po, para
Baka mas-
ayusin yung batas.
Baka po mas marami ako magagawa kung presidente.
Okay.
We'll give.
Ayan na natin. We're out of time already. Let's
Gutom na po.
we have to move on.
Gutom lang yan, Commissioner. Gutom.
Maraming salamat for joining us this afternoon, Comelec Commissioner Attorney Ray Bulay. Thank you, sir.
We hope to have you back another time,
Salamat
sir.
po.
Ma'am, salamat po, ma'am. Maraming salamat po, sir.
Meron pang
Thank you.
campaign financing
Thank
to talk
you,
about.
Commissioner.
Okay,
Apo.
hindi tayo umabot sa campaign financing. You're watching Storycon on One News. We just need to take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.
We've got developing news in the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao.
And I'm Regina Lay, still with us. Amy Pamintuan of the Philippine Star, Ronald Llamas, a resident political heckler. Let's get more insights after that last interview. Heckler muna. On the Comelec's decision to clear Senator Rodante Marcoleta over his SOSE issue, let's bring in former Comelec Commissioner Attorney Louis Tito Guia. Welcome back to Storycon, Attorney.
Hi, sir.
Good afternoon, Attorney.
Here, I'm honored to be here again.
Sir, did you hear our discussion with Commissioner Bulay?
Well, just a portion of it. The last part, siguro.
Yung ministerial.
Teka, mamaya.
Ano pong comment niyo, sir?
Ano muna, sir?
Well, if you do fact-finding investigation, and that is what a motu proprio investigation is, you make certain judgment on how you should appreciate the facts and how the law applies to the facts. So medyo hindi ganun ka-ministerial po yun dahil meron kang ginagamit na discretion to determine whether the facts as proven, and in this case mukhang wala namang issue ng facts kasi admitted lahat no, ang issue lang kung applicable yung batas. Yung process ng pag determine kung applicable yung batas dito or may batas na pwedeng gamitin, medyo may pagka-exercise of judgment yon.
Sir, I'm sure you've read the decision ng COMELEC dun sa kay Marcoleta. Your thoughts, basically it's a technicality. Hindi pa raw siya kandidato dahil hindi pa nagde-day one ng campaign period. Therefore, hindi siya liable for accepting.
The main decision is based on timeline. Timeline daw.
Okay. No, first and foremost, no, totoo 'yon. Meron tayong batas at na-interpret ng Supreme Court na
Supreme Court.
nagiging liable lang ang kandidato at the start of the campaign period, no? Dito ang nangyari, natanggap supposedly yung donation, walang issue po doon before the start of the campaign period. So, hindi pa kandidato at hindi pa liable, yun ang sinasabi. Ngunit iba ang sitwasyon kung yung natanggap before the campaign period ay ginamit sa pangangampanya. No? I think mas mahalaga yon kaysa doon sa kung kailan natanggap, importante kung kailan nagamit. No? Although I would admit na hindi yun malinaw masyado sa batas natin. No? Hindi ganun ka black and white yung ganung klaseng interpretation. Pero sa akin po, kung ako lang po yung I respect the opinion of the decision of COMELEC. Pero ang dapat tingnan dyan kung kailan ginamit. Kasi yun nga yung dapat tingnan. Yung sinasabi nga, ang purpose nga na dapat minomonitor mo yung pera na ginagamit sa politika is that, you want to level the playing field. No? And that's why, and you want, other than leveling the playing field, you know where the money used in campaigns are sourced. Kasi alam natin yung relation ng pera sa politika at yung magiging governance approach nung kandidato pag nanalo siya.
Pero ang sinasabi Commissioner Commissioner Bulay ay dahil very clear yung batas, hindi to subject sa interpretation. Ang sinasabi nyo ay yung spirit of the law ay malinaw dito at dapat mas proactive kayo para mag-lean towards the spirit, no? Yun ang sinasabi niyo. Sinasabi ni Commissioner Bulay ay wala silang ganong klaseng leeway. Dahil daw very specific yung batas tungkol dito. Totoo ba yun?
Well, siguro sa pananaw po yun kung paano i-interpret yung batas, ano po? Kaya nga po tingin ko hindi ministerial yung trabaho ng COMELEC dito kasi may exercise of
hindi
judgment.
ministerial Ito talaga si Redshaw.
No, I agree, but Commissioner Bulay was making it sound like it was so, which is why I was pressing him on it. Na it sounded like they didn't have the power to discern anything. Tali sila sa existing outdated
Omnibus
law.
election code.
But the other thing about the Peñera doctrine is the spirit is to prevent pre-campaign period abuses or campaigning, pero it does not automatically make non-existent the political donations. And we know it's political in nature because sinabi na rin mismo ng tao na nakatanggap na this was to get me to the Senate.
Exactly. It's not so much when you receive the money that is illegal, no? And I would concede that there is no illegality there because of the current interpretation of our election laws. But the fact that the money was used for campaign makes it something that should, going by the spirit of the law, the duty of COMELEC to make sure that money is not such an influence in election, then you have to do more than that. that is what I would interpret it as as something that is still within the regulatory power of COMELEC, at least coming from the agency tasked to enforce election law. And then if there are legal issues, that is something that can be brought to the courts.
So what should COMELEC have done from your perspective? Kasi on one hand, you say na there's nothing illegal there, technically, but on the other hand, COMELEC could have pushed further. So what, from your perspective, should COMELEC have done in this case?
Dagdag sa tanong ni Ed, Commissioner, ay in the past naman, di ba, nilalampasan niyo naman yung qualification na kayo ay ministerial lang. Di ba may ginagawa naman kayong desisyon na umaabot sa Supreme Court? No?
Actually,
di ba, ibig sabihin hindi lang kayo ministerial because of that.
Actually, President Edu, hindi lang hindi lang naman yung panahon namin. Even, I think one thing that you would, admire Chairman Garcia for right now is that alam niya na may limitasyon yung batas. And that's why there were several resolutions of COMELEC that were actually treading the gray area because insufficient ka yung batas. I mean, that's a reality, no? Pero kagaya nung, let's say, yung pag-apply ng Safe Space Act sa mga misogynistic utterances during campaign, no? Hindi malinaw sa ating batas pang eleksyon yon. Pero COMELEC was willing to at least define our election law para ma-cover yon because I mean that is the COMELEC that you would want to have. No? Medyo proactive siya na consistent yan sa kanyang mandato under the Constitution. Alam niya na medyo kulang yung batas at talagang kulang po. Agree ako kay Commissioner Bulay na dapat i-amenda ang ating election code. Pero ngayon, magpapatakbo ka na ng eleksyon. Wala kang choice kundi you have to, address the realities, the problems, the real issues confronting election now. So, titingnan mo yung batas at pwede mong tingnan siya in the context of the contemporary time para maging effective yung iyong duty. So, that's I think how COMELEC should be looking at our defective election laws.
Pero in this case, attorney, kasi you're talking about being proactive. Marami na kasing naging issue dyan sa yung batas na yan on no such thing as premature campaigning.
Yung Piñera,
And
Piñera.
everything covered by the law should be only within the campaign period. Ang dami-daming gulo na nangyari dyan eh. And it was upheld by the Supreme Court, unfortunately. Kaya katakot-takot na actually cases na natalo ang COMELEC dyan eh. In this case of Marcoleta, sa tingin nyo malaki yung leeway to be proactive at sabihin, siya mismo nagsabi na ginamit niya, you're talking about that time, na kasi alam naman natin na before the campaign period, talagang maraming donor na nagbibigay sa mga prospective. In fact, bago pa mag-declare ng candidacy yung kandidato, marami na nagbibigay dyan. Alam naman natin yun eh. It starts sa mga donasyon, yung mga big ticket, mga months before the start of the campaign period. Nagbibigay na yan. Those contributions are never declared. Kapag ganyan, anong kayang pwedeng gawin? Ang kaya nyo lang yung sana before, pag-file mo ng candidacy mo, kandidato ka na. Pati yung natalo dun sa Supreme Court eh. Sinabi ng Supreme Court, kahit nag-file, hindi ka pa rin kandidato until the campaign period, ano? Medyo nahihilo kami dyan sa ganyang mga interpretasyon. Pero, andyan na eh. Anong pwede? In this case, yung kay Marcoleta, is there a wide room for being proactive about those donations na binigay nga nung before the campaign period?
No, this is the difference, no? Kasi kung donation kasi, although natanggap before campaign period, ginamit pang kampanya. So ginamit siya actually sa election. 'Di ba? Ibang usapin 'yon dahil you use it for electoral purposes, for campaign. So there can be an avenue for interpretation that it should be covered as among those that should be reported in the SOSI at the very least. Yun yung pananaw. Yung mga iba kasing crime or election offense na hindi na commit before the campaign period, no? nagkakampanya ka, naglagay ka ng campaign materials before election period. Wala kasing implication yan sa except that matagal na siyang naka-display, no? Pero ito kasi yung actual ng paggamit ang critical eh. So, in other words, that's an interpretation that can be forwarded, no? I don't know how the Supreme Court will look at that, pero at least if you want to be proactive, as COMELEC was very proactive in many other aspects of their election preparation in the 2022 as well as in the 2025 election, this is one area that they can be consistent by being proactive also. Yun lang yung aking ini-expect sana dahil proactive ang COMELEC sa maraming bagay Marami tayong yung parang pumalakpak nga tayo doon sa mga yung sa social media na kahit kulang-kulang ang batas, gumawa ang COMELEC ng resolution para ma-cover. So, sa akin lang, by being consistent, this is one thing that they can also pursue. And then, kung mali,
daw na wag maging proactive.
No.
De.
and then kung mali,
Yan lang ang chismis.
Attorney,
Yeah.
knowing what you know about how the COMELEC works, what is your best guess as to why the COMELEC has become less proactive, shall we say? Kasi marami ng issues where they've, washed their hands of the issue and said that they have limited powers. For example, premature campaigning. For example, campaign financing in relation to contractors' donations. And now SOSED declaration. So it feels almost like nawala na yung proactivity that you're talking about. And what is your best guess as to why that's happened?
No, it's everybody's interpretation, of course. I mean, I respect how they look at the law, and it's actually how you want to pursue your role in the whole, political, environment, no? And COMELEC's role, of course, is to regulate and check bad behavior in elections. So, yun naman yung kwan doon. But of course, COMELEC can only act within the limits of its authority. Hindi naman siya pwedeng sumobra talaga. Premature campaigning, as sabi nga ni Ami, ilang beses nang in-affirm ng Supreme Court yon. So talagang established na yun. No? Pero hanggang ngayon, pati ang COMELEC, may mga panahon na talagang tinutulak pa rin niya yan parang dinefine niya na hindi applicable yung premature campaigning rule pag hindi automated yung election. No? May ganong interpretation ng COMELEC. To me, that's a proactive interpretation. But there are areas that can still be open for interpretation. And what side of the the spectrum of possibilities should COMELEC take? No, siyempre kanya-kanyang opinion na yon. But if I were the one, I would say, I would look at how election integrity could be promoted and protected.
Sir,
I'll question it later.
Yes, sir. Sir, let me back up a bit. What if we don't look at it from the point of view lang of election law, but from the point of view of law itself? Kasi here you're looking at a situation where whether it's a campaign contribution or not, based on the technicality, you have somebody, a public official, he was a congressman then, who acknowledges receiving 75 million pesos in donations from private citizens, when his his net worth at that time was at 51 million. Ang laki ng kaibahan, mas malaki pa yung natanggap niya na donasyon, and put that in quotes, kaysa kanyang SALN. Wala bang sabit doon? I mean, kung ang janitor, bigyan mo ng 500, baka makasuhan ng kung ano na. Pero in this case, you're looking at how many millions over his net worth?
Campaign spending yung 75 million, not the donation. He declared 75 million campaign spending.
No, campaign spending was 112 million.
Was it 112 or 75?
112.
75 million yung dinonate ng tatlo.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well,
From that perspective.
Ganyan yung relationship ng COMELEC's role in looking at money in politics, but necessarily related to money and politics is, of course, good governance, no? So that is something that ombudsman can also, the office of the ombudsman can also probably look at if may makita siyang kwan, no? So ngayon, so anong papel ng COMELEC doon, ano? Assuming hindi na sa kanyang kwan, because siyempre COMELEC is only mandated to
Election law.
enforce election law. Hindi naman siyang pwedeng manghimasok ng pagpapatupad ng batas na hindi na sa kanyang kapangyarihan. Maganda rin maging proactive siguro ang COMELEC to refer it to the appropriate agency sa tingin niya kung if there's something that smells wrong, no? Hindi naman sinasabi natin na masama 'yon, ano, but I mean, kaya nga nagkakaroon ng fact-finding investigation kasi
Yes,
may
sir.
mga
Yes, sir.
may mga nakita.
Sir,
And-
let me put it this way, sir. I'm asking you not only as a former COMELEC commissioner or as an election lawyer, but as a lawyer. You have several laws that may or may not govern these issues. Among them, the RA 6713, yung Code of Conduct for Public Officials, the Anti-Graft Law of 1960, and the revised penal code. They deal with certain things like, I think, Section 7 of the Code of Conduct. Public officials are not allowed to accept gifts or money in the course of their official duties. The revised penal code, Section 211 or Article 211 says public officials are not also allowed to accept gifts or money offered by reason of his office. Do any of these provisions of law apply in this case from your perspective as a lawyer?
Well, unang-una siyempre kunya, no, bali-balita yan, ano? I mean, those are the things that would have to be investigated on. But based on the information, if that came out for a public official, then that is something that can be looked into by the probably by the office of the
Ombudsman.
ombudsman.
Hindi, si Senator Marcoleta nagsabi mismo noon.
Okay, so yun nga. I mean yun siguro yung dapat mangyari doon from the government side. Ano, kasi we're not making judgment here, no?
Yes,
Kasi,
I understand. Yun lang,
hypothetical
sir. Yes, sir.
situation.
I understand, sir. Yun lang kasi, from our perspective, kasi we're non-lawyers eh. From our perspective, parang, teka, ba't ganun? You know what I mean? Pwede ba yun? That's coming from us non-lawyers.
In line with the question of Eda, balikan ko yung sinabi ko kanina na yung mga nagko-contribute sa mga kandidato, lalo na for national, no? They start contributing long before
Yeah.
the start
Yeah.
of the campaign period, before the filing of the certificates of candidacy. Paglabas ng mga survey, meron ng mga nag-ano dyan nag-i-invest, ano? Walang control doon ng COMELEC, ano?
Wala.
Ang covered
Kasi,
lang ng rules nyo, the exact campaign period.
Ami, ganun yung state ng law natin. Kaya nga, siguro, personally, I've been involved in campaign finance reform since 2003.
Yes.
Okay, and to look at political finance as something that is not limited within the election period.
Yes.
Yun yung sa ibang bansa, minomonitor ang lahat ng pera pumupunta sa political parties even in between elections. No, walang
Yes.
period yan. So that is the ideal one. But we've been pushing for a political party and campaign finance law since the early 2000 hanggang ngayon hindi pinapasa dahil hindi siya, should I say, hindi siya sexy na issue eh. And then we suffer and then we face these situations every election.
Yung magpapasa ng batas niya, sila yung nakikinabang doon.
Okay, kasi wala kasing demand. It's never an election issue. We do not push for it.
We push for
We do
it.
not push for it so much.
Yeah.
Kaya hindi, walang compulsion sa kanila para ipasa itong mga batas na ito. And then, pagdating ng election, reklamo tayo na reklamo kasi palpak ang ating election law. But we do not push for it.
Pero
Attorney,
dalawang
push for
bagay, Commissioner, no? Yung isa, yung mga reforms na kailangan. Diba? Yun ang pinag-uusapan natin ngayon. Itong reform, pagbabago ng Omnibus Election Code, etc.
Campaign
etc.
finance.
Yung mga penalties sa mga lumalabag, etc. etc. Yung party finance proposal, etc. etc. So, yan yung in the medium term, kailangan ng gawin.
Our long
Pero at present, within the present limits ng COMELEC, ang pinag-uusapan natin, ano yung pwede sana nilang nagawa? No? Saan sila dapat may pagkiling? Doon sa clear spirit of the law o yung gray area na pwede mong invoke yung mga technicalities. No? Dahil ang at stake dito ay hindi lang itong individual case ni Marcoleta, ni Chis Escudero. Ang at stake dito is the COMELEC as an important institution. Nag-unravel na nga yung ating mga institution sa bansa. Tapos yung COMELEC makakasama pa dyan. So, saan na tayo pupulutin yan? Diba? Yun yung pinag-uusapan natin dito. At maganda na kinaklarify nyo yung pagiging dapat proactive. At yung hindi lang pagiging ministerial. Parang ang hirap kasi maunawaan, nakakasuhan mo yung mga nagko-contribute, tapos yung pinagbigyan ng pera, wala man lang a tap on the wrist. Tapos yung kahit nagsinungaling na, glaringly, publicly, itong opisyal na ito, ay sasabihin ay hindi nagsinungaling siya, pero hindi umabot sa timeline. So, sino makakaunawa nun? No? Ang pinag-uusapan, timeline. Kahit ang linaw-linaw naman na may ginawa siyang perjury. No? So, yun yung issue rito na ano ba dapat nang gawin ng COMELEC para naman sagipin yung kanyang sarili as an institution. No?
Well, siguro nasa COMELEC yun, no? O kung paano ka masasagip doon sa term nyo, Secretary Llamas, no? But let me point to something, no, very important. Yung sinasabi nila exception, yung na-decriminalize, yung failure to report, no? Failure to report the donation, dati criminal yon under the Omnibus Election Code. Pero may amendment 7166 na decriminalize yung failure to report SOSE. No? Administrative offense na lang yon. Pero may naiwan na nag-remain na criminal. Yung failure to report by the donors. Kaya yung donors pwedeng makasuhan, pero yung binigyan, hindi. Yun yung state ng law natin. Now, medyo absurd yun, but that's the state of our law. Ngayon, of course, we would like to expect COMELEC to be more proactive, but at the end of the day, kaya in-emphasize din yung batas, pero somehow ayaw natin bigyan ng ganong discretion yung COMELEC. Maging mas malinaw sana. Well, yung decision whether to be proactive or not is something that is within COMELEC to project siguro.
Since Ronald mentioned Senator Chis Escudero, let me move the conversation there kasi that's another issue, no, attorney, wherein PFAD, the Political Finance Affairs Division, also dismissed the case against him over the donation of Lawrence Lubiano, who is the founder of Centerways Construction, one of the top 15 contractors that President Marcos identified. Ngayon, that was declared cleanly in his 2022 SOSE, but the PFAD ultimately said, well, the person and the company are distinct legal entities, even though hindi siya a mere officer ng kumpanya. He, by all accounts, he founded it, and that is the primary source of income. What did you make of that? And before I forget, the other context to this is Chairman George Garcia was, of course, Senator Chis Escudero's lawyer in 2021 when he filed his SOSE. When he filed his COC, when he was running for Senate.
Well, as far as I can remember, the PFAD resolution, pag titingnan mo yung dispositive portion niya, sabi, it's a recommendation to the unbank. No? So it is supposed to be something that should be acted on by the unbank pa, no? Number two, since it was a motu proprio investigation, it might have been better for COMELEC IT or for PFAD to go beyond the documents that it has. Of course, the document will just say what is contained there, no? But since there was some question, then it could have conducted a more should I say,
thorough,
serious investigation, if I may say, just like what they did in this case. I think they even asked Senator Marcoleta to appear before them. And there was even a lawyer, I think, who submitted an affidavit. In that case, I don't think that happened at all. Okay, and to explore, should I to explore the probably the degree or the extent of the ownership of Mr. Lubiano in the company that was a
Yeah.
contractor.
Oh.
You know, yun yung mga maganda sana kung nakita din ng kwan, ang bahagi yan ng investigasyon niya.
But you're right. I think they were just asked to submit written replies to the case. But again, in that case, coming back to the spirit of the law, malinaw naman ang spirit of the law, which is to prevent conflicts of interest, wherein you're a government contractor and you're donating money to try to influence the outcome of an election, right?
Hindi lang yun, Commissioner, ang daming smoking gun ng kaso ni Cheese. No? Yung mga binagsakan ng project ng Lubiano Company ay halos lahat nasa probinsya o
Sorsogon.
distrito ni Cheese.
Yeah.
Yung kapatid ni Lubiano ay kaalyado nila Cheese, at running mate pa yata ng isa niyang kapatid. No? Yung piercing the corporate veil, ang linaw naman, 98% ng ownership dito kay Lubiano. So, etc. Yun ba ay mamimiss nitong PFAD? No? Yung ganong klase mga smoking gun? At mag-i-invoke na naman sila ng technicality?
Well, nabasa niyo na yung desisyon. So, yun na yun.
Di ba appealable yun? Hindi na ano yun, ano? Hindi na ano yun ang unbank, ano?
Ang alam ko nga, recommendation, kasi yun yung kwan
Yeah.
Yun yung tono ng dispositive portion. Pero sa aking pagkakaalam, and I think na nasabi din ito before, mismo ni, if I'm not mistaken, si Commissioner Bulay mismo, meron pang isang kaso na criminal case naman na pending sa law department. I just don't know kung ano na yung nangyari doon.
Yung kila Attorney Falsis na sinampa. Oo.
I'm not sure what that is.
File ng isa pang kaso. May nag-isampa pa ng isang kaso. So, pwede pa siyang buhayan actually, no?
Well, it's a different, yung motor proprio kasi parang nagiging kwan lang, parang in effect parang bibo lang yung naging bibo lang
Finding,
yung yung institusyon para sa kanya mismo siya yung nagsimula nung inquiry.
Buti naman nag-inhibit si Chairman Garcia.
Oo naman, palagay ko nakita naman din lahat yung kanyang relationship. So it was right for him to inhibit.
Kasi nag-inhibit siya sa interview namin eh. Yeah.
Nag-inhibit niya siya rito.
We've been trying to get him for a long time.
Talagang mahilig siya mag-inhibit.
Sa interviews. Alam na rin naman niya. But I just contrast that with the we last interviewed him a few months ago, wherein siya mismo nagsabi sa amin, they have the discretion.
I remember that.
Remember this, Ami? They have the power to determine yung kung ano yung conflicts of interest doon. Siya din nagsabi yung the piercing the corporate veil theory. And he said they have a lot of leeway when it comes to deciding where the conflicts of interest are. And
In fact, he said specifically, ang tingin niya, wala naman daw distinction between the juridical entity, na yun lang naman daw ang requirement, at saka the owner. Specifically, tanda ko yun kasi sinulat ko yun. At sabi niya, pagdating sa COMELEC, yun ang magiging niya. Yun ang magiging posisyon niya. Na ang kapag ganyan sa donation, walang pagkakaiba yung juridical entity sa may-ari.
Yan ang
Sabi
problema
niya,
sa inyo eh.
hindi bali na akong dalhin sa Supreme Court.
Yes.
Total gray area
I
yan.
remember this.
Mas maganda nga
Oo.
daw para ma-define.
Oo.
Para
Correct.
magkaroon ng definition.
Correct.
He was preparing for it to be taken to the Supreme Court.
So-
Pero yun ang kanyang interpretation. No difference between a donation from a juridical, yun lang naman daw, kahit sa Constitution, yun lang nakalagay juridical entity.
so, and then
And the owner, the same.
And then fast forward several weeks or months
Kaya nagulat
later,
kami.
lumabas yung decision on that case, and clearly it says there,
Kakaiba.
Centerways is not Lawrence Lubiano and Lawrence Lubiano is not
Yeah.
Centerways. So, of course, we're like, there's a huge disconnect here. Ano
Wow.
sabihin mo?
Yun nga yung problema sa inyo. Pinaliwalag na sa inyo kung ano yung dapat mangyari. No? Tapos,
We're expecting too much.
oo,
Sabi nila,
inaasahan
hinihintay
nyo pa
namin.
may implement. No? Parang sangkweba ba kayo nang galing?
Hintay ka kami na hintay na dumating na sa Supreme Court eh.
Oh,
Hindi man lang umabot.
Hindi man lang umabot.
Wala nang pupuntahan to usapan to.
What is one thing? What is one reform or one thing they can change now at this point
Nag-rant na nga ako.
for the 2028 elections, attorney? Short of amending the law, because we know that's not going to happen anytime soon. So, ano yung pwedeng gawin, especially at a time when I feel trust in the institution has eroded?
Dagdagan ko lang yung sinabi ni Reg sa Com. Papunta tayo sa isang napaka-defining election sa 2028. Tapos, yung mag-implement nung election ay ganito ka-damage. So, anong pwede natin gawin between now and 2028 para at least man lang hindi ganyang kabutas-butas yung institusyon na yan?
Well, mapagmatsyag. I mean, talagang dapat nagmamatsyag tayo and then tinitingnan natin sila where, we should be we should be talking to them, we should be calling them out. Siguro, if we do not agree with them, continuously. COMELEC naman siguro ngayon, may sensitivity sa public opinion, so probably that is something that they would be that would make them improve, no? Yun yung inaasahan natin. Ano pa ba? So if you're talking about administrative reform, yun siguro yun. At yun.
Kasi ito rin nahihirapan.
Abolish COMELEC. but are they receptive to public opinion on this, or no, not at all?
Well, they have shown that they were receptive. At least, I mean, the administration of Chairman Garcia for the past, I would say, from 2020 to 26, in general, no? But let's say, no? Let's continue calling the attention of COMELEC probably, if there are things that let's just, I mean, there's only one COMELEC. I mean, there can be no other COMELEC going to 2028, no? Chairman Garcia will still be there until 2029 if I remember right. 2 commissioners will be retiring next year. So there will be 2 new commissioners in February of next year. So that is the composition of the commission that will run the election in 2028.
Kaya lang, as we said, nag-inhibit na si Chair Garcia from interviews. COMELEC Chair George Garcia, if you're listening, please, our doors are always open. We'd love to talk to you about some of these issues. But for now, we'll leave that there. Thank you so much for talking to us, former COMELEC Commissioner, Attorney Louis Tito Gia. Salamat, sir.
My pleasure.
Thank
Maraming
you, sir.
Salamat, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you for joining StoryCon today. I'm Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, Ronald Llamas, our resident political pundit. Join us again tomorrow, 4 p.m. for StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay.
Buti, Miyerkules na. Medling ka. Ano?
Parang nagbabago from start to finish ang tawag sa akin.
Ano ba yung gusto mo? What do you want?
Depende sa mood.
President Edu, who said that?
Si Louis.
Aba,
Louis, oo.
aba,
Louis.
aba, na-elevate ka
Oo.
to President Edu? Can you tell everybody na, are you running or not?
Kesa naman Papa Edo, di ba?
Baka may early, kung din ako, early premature campaign.
Oo nga, oo nga.
Mahirap na.
Hindi, may technicality naman eh.
Ayaw nga pala, may technicality naman pala.
Yung mga donor ko, baka mag-hesitate. Si Manny Mogato pa naman ang number 1 donor ko.
Tawa-tawa ka. Mamaya, mamarkuleta ka eh. Yung sabi mo.
But technicality.
Okay. I'm Edling Kapatid. We are One News Soul Side all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the StoryCon Group.